Hello!
Hello!
And welcome to Charm Chats with Kendra
And Kat.
Today we are covering episode 318, San Francisco.
Yeah.
If you need this pun explained to you, you might have a problem with symbolism. Or symbolism, as the case may be.
Yeah.
Anyway, this episode originally aired on April 19th, 2001. One day early for a real good time.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the title is, of course, a play on sin and San Francisco. So it's
going
to be
be
an interesting episode, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, quick disclaimers before we start. We do have the dog right in front of my face.
And he is being a little shit.
Little shit, yes.
Well, I've had to wipe his face because of the little shit he is being.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
We also have the fan and the air on because it's hot today.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice. It was gorgeous. It was a lovely 70-something Fahrenheit out there the past few days, and now it's shot back up.
Yeah, then the sun came out.
Yeah. The Fire Nation attacked.
Where's the Avatar?
Oh, God. So, I apologize for the sounds of the air and the fan and the possibility of icing glasses because I'm not cutting it out and I just don't care.
Yep.
We are real here, people.
Yeah.
That's how we do. So, let us get right on into the show. We start with that awesome shot that pans across one of the hills to show us the Golden Gate Bridge with the city behind it. I love that shot. I don't know why, but I love that shot. Then we get a shot of the cars going across the bridge, an overhead shot of the city that shows us the Triangle Building, a quick shot of Coit Tower, and end on a shot of a car pulling up to a sidewalk.
We see Prue and Phoebe get out and start walking. And hey, it's always nice to have the actors actually drive the cars.
Yeah.
What was it? I was listening to Cameron Esposito talk about how in some movie she was in, they had her drive a vintage car that didn't have power steering.
Oh, God.
With a trailer attached to it.
Oh,
All
God.
they had to have her do was pull it out off the curb, and she was still like freaking out because also there were children in the back seat.
Yeah.
Like child actors. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I never want to do that.
Mm-mm.
My dad tried to teach me how to drive stick shift, and that lasted all of about a week before I was like, I can't.
I want to learn how to drive stick shift, but I have been in a car without power steering, and let me tell you, if you don't have upper arm strength, you're not driving that car very long.
No.
Because that shit is hard. Exactly, Blue.
Oh, are you trying to clean yourself now? Let me tell you, bub, we went through that. You didn't like it.
Mm-hmm. No,
Maybe don't roll in other people's shit next time.
Ah, yes. If the dog wasn't so cute.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway. So, Prue is in a brown leather jacket. It's kind of a light brown. With jeans and a large brown purse. We don't see her shirt because the jacket is covering it. Her hair is down and straight like normal. Phoebe is in a pink rain jacket with a hood and jeans. And again, we don't see her shirt because it's covered by the jacket. Though the jacket is unzipped quite low down and we still don't see a shirt underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
So just putting that out there.
Very Phoebe.
Yeah. She's got a small necklace of little blue stones, and her hair is down and curly, but it looks like it's longer than it used to be, because normally curls would make your hair shorter.
I don't know. Every time I straighten my hair, people ask me if I've cut it.
It's because they're not used to seeing you with straight hair.
It's just funny, because no one ever asks that when I curl it, and it actually looks shorter.
No, because... No.
So, I don't think it's that it looks... I don't think it's that it is longer. I think you're just like... My brain is seeing this curly, and it must process.
No, I don't think so, because it looked like it was longer than her hair was before, because her hair used to be, like, just at her shoulders, and it seemed like it was longer than that while curled.
No, hang on. Like, previous episodes, it's been longer than that, though, right?
I honestly
or
don't
has she had a
remember.
haircut recently?
It's been a while.
It has.
It's been a while, because of life and things.
Been a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't have the rights for that.
We don't need to.
So, yeah. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It was just a thing.
Yeah, anyway. Phoebe believes she should have stayed home where she could better procrastinate her overdue ethics paper, and is wondering why the hell Prue dragged her out into this area of town.
Right. Prue says that she was scrying for unnatural activity and found this place. And reminder that we have decided to only count scrying when we see them doing it.
Yeah.
So this does not count. Phoebe then wonders why Prue is actively seeking out trouble since she's supposed to be putting more balance into her life.
Prue tells her, "Oh yeah, I shot a magazine cover the day before, had a date that night, and now I'm going searching for evil this morning. Perfect balance. Bing, bang, boom.
Yep.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am."
Yes. Phoebe jokes that she's just your typical everyday Cosmo girl. So Cosmo is short for Cosmopolitan, which is now an international fashion magazine for women. But it started out in 1886 as The Cosmopolitan, a family magazine. It was also a literary magazine at some point and became a women's magazine in 1965. It has 64 international editions, is printed in 35 different languages, and is distributed in more than 110 countries. I will, of course, link to its wiki on the website, as it is a very interesting read.
Anyway, Prue believes that since Piper got married and Phoebe hooked up with Cole, that they don't really need her as much as other people do, so she's trying to help out the people who do need her.
Yeah. As they continue talking, Prue sees a dumpster, which is apparently the thing they need to find.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Anyway, Prue sneaks up on the dumpster and sneak attacks it by flipping the lid open.
Yeah. Like, and it was funny to me because, like, she doesn't look around to see if anybody's paying attention.
Nope.
She just waves her hand and the lid flies open. Like, you know, you are in a public space, woman. Just saying. Phoebe runs over, pulls out a box, gets all excited that it's the coffee maker she wanted.
Prue reminds her it's just the empty carton, and Phoebe has this cute little, like, oh, darn.
Yeah. Phoebe thanks Prue for protecting her, for making a fool out of herself.
Yeah, Prue jokes it's a full-time job, and Phoebe takes a little offense to that, but they continue walking down the street. Apparently, the dumpster wasn't the right thing.
Yeah. Prue asks how Cole is, as she hasn't seen him in a while, and Phoebe says that he's still dodging demonic bounty hunters, but that he shimmers into the bedroom every once in a while. Phoebe says she's starting to have some doubts about his true feelings, like is he in love with her, or is it just her charms? But Prue reminds her that she has magical knowledge that he does in fact love her. When she still seems skeptical, Prue tells her to think of all the times that he's risked his life to save her and that it can't just be about the sex.
Though it can partially be about the sex as they jibe each other. They then hear some men screaming in a nearby alley, and they see a spark fly in the air, so they walk over in that direction.
And we cut to said alley where there are two men arguing.
One guy's in a brown suit, the other's in a couple of layered t-shirts and what looks like a mechanic vest.
Yeah. He also has a sleeve of tattoos on his arms.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So the tattooed guy, he's also holding a small crystal box.
Yeah, quote-unquote crystal.
Yeah.
It's plastic.
It's plastic.
It's translucent plastic, and it's a bit glowy.
Yeah. Tattooed guy doesn't really get a name that I'm aware of other than Demonic Courier in IMDb, but I shall tell you about the actor. His name is Jeff Pryor, and that is spelled JF. That's how it is on his IMDb.
Wow!
JF. Yep. He was born in Napa, California in 1964. He has 35 acting credits to his name between 1996 and 2015. But I know the thing that will make at least Kendra the most interested about him is that he is a dog saver.
Yay!
He runs a non-profit dog rescue in Echo Park, Los Angeles, California. It's called the Mutt Scouts.
Uh-huh.
And I will link to their website and their Facebook for anyone who wants to check them out. There's an article about him seeing a picture of a Boxer Bulldog puppy that was left to die in Mexico. And he was able to find someone to get the dog back to his place in Echo Park and then get him back to being healthy. And it is the cutest thing ever. I will, of course, link to the article on the website because it's just the sweetest thing ever. This Boxer Bulldog was just so cute. And yeah.
Oh my god, speaking of puppies, Colin's mom is picking up their new puppy today.
Nice.
A little pug.
Nice.
They haven't quite settled on a name yet. They shot down Gizmo, which was my personal favorite.
Yeah, you know. He's a pug, call him Wheezy.
I think they're going for Winston, maybe.
I have
They're
Overwatch.
history buffs.
That's fine. No, I have Overwatch.
Yeah.
Winston is a monkey.
Well, honestly, no. You remember that commercial with the puppy monkey thing? Puppy baby monkey?
Yeah, no,
they used a
thank you.
pug for that.
No, thank you.
So Winston would work.
No, thank you. Anyway. Ooh. Hi.
Yeah.
You can stop that.
We're not going to find out Suit Guy's name right now, but of course, she's already got all the information on the dude.
Of course I am. The actor is Rourke Critchlow.
That is a great fucking name.
Yeah. He's a Canadian. He was born in Calgary, Alberta, Canada in 1963. He has 92 acting credits between 1990 and 2017, including a few different soap operas, a 15-episode run on V, the one with...
Marina Baccarin.
Yeah. So it's the one that ran from 2009 to 2011. So it's the reboot, not the original. And he was on 12 episodes of Pretty Little Liars from 2010 to 2015. So people might recognize him from those things. I did not recognize him from those things because I don't watch those things. But, there is that.
Whatever. Anyway, Suit Dude is asking Tattoo Guy for more. Tattoo Guy's like, what you want isn't in the box anymore. And Suit Dude gets really irate.
Yeah.
So Tattoo Guy says, oh, you can never get enough greed, and throws a fireball at the dude, sending him flying against a dumpster.
And that's when Prue and Phoebe run over. Prue cries out, uses her power on the Tattoo Guy, who then drops the box. And it just kind of falls straight down. Both men dive for the box, and Prue uses her power to make it go sliding out of the alley and into the street. And the first POV that we get, it looks like it makes it all the way to the curb on the other side.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, it does not.
Nope.
Tattooed Guy tries to get up. Phoebe kicks him in the face. He says the box belongs to Lucas, and that's Lucas with a K, thanks to IMDb.
Yeah. Yeah, Phoebe tries to make a quip about the box getting impounded, but Tattoo Guy disappears in the middle of it.
Yeah. Prue goes over to Suit Guy, telling him that he's okay now and that it's all over, but he's still freaking out about needing more. He pushes Prue out of the way, runs into the road to grab the box that is not near the curb, and promptly gets hit by a bus. And we go to the opening credits.
So cheery. Anyway, we see in the credits that we get Daryl in this episode, but no Cole.
Yes.
We come back to see the front of the bus that hit Suit Dude, which we know because of the streak of blood smeared down the front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the police are busy questioning witnesses, and Daryl is questioning the bus driver.
Yeah, Daryl learns Suit Guy's name, and then he walks over to Prue, and we see Phoebe in the background being questioned by a cop.
Yeah, generic uniformed
cop.
officer.
Yes, which we will learn more about
Beat cop.
later. So, Prue asks Daryl if he found anything. He mentions that they get suicides all the time, but she's like, no, I recognize the signs of demonic, entity driving this guy to run into the street. And he tells her that his name was Robert Pike. He was married with 2 kids, and he worked as a successful stockbroker. Now, I'm not going to tangent on it, because the only thing that I really found interesting about the stockbroker thing is that it started in Rome in the 2nd century of BCE.
I'm guessing with actual stocks.
Yeah, I don't know. Literally all it said was that it started in Rome, and I went, that's interesting. They
probably stole it from the Greeks, let's face it.
Probably. I will, of course, link to the wiki for anyone who cares, but there's going to be a lot of linking things to the wikis on the website. Not as much tangenting today.
Yeah.
Because of reasons. Because if we tangented on everything in this episode...
There's a lot to
tangent
coming
on.
up.
If I tangented on everything, this episode would be 6 hours long.
Yeah. Anyway, Prue says that the demon accused the man of being greedy and wonders if there's a connection. Daryl says that's pretty hard to believe since he was just hosting a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society the night before.
Now, the American Cancer Society was established in 1913 when saying the word cancer in public was considered inappropriate. It was founded by 10 physicians and 5 businessmen in New York City under the name American Society for the Control of Cancer. It was the ASCC. Yeah. It became the American Cancer Society in 1944.
X.
Yes. Links on the website, of course.
That's resonant. Anyway, Prue tells Daryl that all he seemed interested in was the box, which he questions, and she opens her bag to show it to him, because of course she has it just fucking in her purse.
Of course. The box is glowing a bit inside her bag, and we can also see that she has in this bag her wallet, her cell phone, and some NARS makeup. Now, NARS...
That's gnarly.
Yeah, NARS is a French cosmetics company that started in 1994. I swear I did not realize it had only been around that long.
Yeah, that's pretty short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will, of course, link to the wiki, not going to tangent, but I just thought that was interesting. Oh, also, the label on the bag is Tatty Totes, but I couldn't find anything on the internet for that.
That sounds so dumb. I love it.
But it might have been a local artist thing when the show first appeared, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
but I just thought it was interesting because when she opens it, it's like you can see the label Tatty Totes on the bag. I was like, all right.
Anyway, Daryl asks what said glowy little
Box
bin is.
Yeah.
And she says she doesn't know, but apparently it's worth dying for.
Mm-hmm. We then cut to Phoebe being interviewed by the cop. Now, I don't know if he actually gets a name. I don't think he does. But he is credited as Officer Dean on IMDb. And I know that we're going to see him again, so I'm going to tell you about this actor. The actor is Michael Roderick. He was born in Jersey City, New Jersey in 1970. He has a total of 38 acting credits so far, starting in 1995. He's still technically acting. Not much else to tell.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Anyway, he asks Phoebe if she thinks the bus driver could have done anything to avoid him, but she replies in the negative. He then asks for her home phone number in case he has any other questions. And she says that it's the same as her sister since they live together. And he continues to flirt inadvisedly. And says, just out of curiosity, what would she say if one of his questions is, can I take you out to dinner?
And she laughs. And she basically does the I'm flattered but I'm seeing someone thing. And then Daryl calls out to him, which I think is hilariously funny. Because there's no way from where Daryl was standing with Prue that he should have been able to hear this conversation. Or, get the fact that this dude is flirting.
I don't think he did. I think he just had to talk to him about stuff.
I don't know. The way that it seemed was...
Blue, can you stop snorting on your aunt, please?
Thanks.
Yeah. Anyway, Daryl walks over to the officer, Phoebe walks over to Prue, and asks if she's okay. Prue's trying to figure out how she could have saved him, but Phoebe assures her that she did all she could without knowing who Lucas is.
Yeah. We see the coroners take the body away, and Prue says that they have to figure out what's so special about the box.
And then we cut to, presumably, Lucas, wearing lots of layers of ill-fitting black leather.
Yeah.
Holding Tattoo Guy up in the air by his throat, which is made extra funny because the actor playing Lucas is short, and the guy playing the other dude is not.
Yeah, it's
very And he's
funny.
also a that guy.
Yes, so I immediately recognized the actor playing Lucas, so let me tell you about him. His name is Kevin Weissman. He was born in Los Angeles, California in 1970. His IMDb credits start in 1994, and he's still acting up a storm. He played the demon Dreg in 3 episodes of Buffy. But most people will probably recognize him from his role as Marshall Flinkman on Alias. More recently, he's had runs on the show Scorpion and the show Runaways. So,
anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lucas is super pissed that Tattoo Dude lost the box. And when he finally drops him, Tattoo Guy brings, a large glowing dildo out of his pocket.
Crystal. It was a crystal.
A large glowing crystal dildo out of his pocket and says they got the businessman's soul.
Lucas says that he needs to deliver 7 souls for 7 sins.
And 7 brides for 7 brothers.
Right. Which makes it known that we are going to be dealing with the 7 deadly sins.
Which, again, if you couldn't have guessed from the title of this episode,
hey,
work on your symbology training. Maybe read a few more books.
Yeah.
Or fan fiction. I don't care. There's good shit out there that'll help you.
Sure. So, let me tell you about the 7 deadly sins.
One of them is voiced by Laura Bailey.
What?
Sorry, Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay. I was like, okay.
Anyway.
So, the 7 deadly sins are pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and or anger. It's said the same way. Wrath and anger are the same thing. And sloth. Pride is an inwardly directed emotion that has both negative and positive connotations. Negatively, it is synonymous with hubris and overconfidence in oneself. Positively, it is basically a humble and content sense of self.
Greed, also known as avarice, is the insatiable longing for unneeded excesses, especially for wealth, status, power, or food.
Yep. Lust is a psychological force producing intense wanting for an object or circumstance fulfilling the emotion, and it can take the form of anything such as the lust for sexuality, money, power, or food.
Most often in media, pop
It is
culture,
sexuality.
It's banging.
Yeah.
You're haranguing for a banging.
Yes. Envy is the emotion that occurs when a person wants what someone else has and either desires that thing or wishes that the other person also didn't have it.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with jealousy, but that's another story.
Yeah. Gluttony is the overindulgence and overconsumption of food, drink, or wealth status items. It comes from the Latin word glutire, which means to gulp down or swallow.
Wrath or anger is an intense negative emotion which involves a strong and hostile response to a perceived provocation, hurt, or threat.
Mm-hmm. Sloth is a habitual disinclination to exertion and therefore has become linked to laziness, apathy, and indifference, and is also a really fucking cute mammal. Aren't they marsupials?
Yeah.
They're mammals?
They're mammals.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, the mammal of the same name is super fucking adorable.
Yeah.
And they go so slowly that moss grows on them.
Yes. I will not tangent on it, but I'm going to link to the wiki for the sloth the animal as well, just because I'm me.
Can you put in the Zay Frank True Facts About Sloths video, too? Because I fucking love that and everyone needs to watch it.
Send me the link for it.
Okay.
Okay. Back to the show.
Tattoo guy asks if Lucas can't just locate the box. Lucas is like, bitch, yeah, but I need to figure out how to get around these witches.
Because,
Yeah.
you know, witches. He says that he's stuck.
Witches, am I right?
Yeah. He says that he's stuck spending an eternity inflicting others with sin because, you know, that's his issue, apparently.
That's his lot in life.
Yeah.
And he's got a quota.
Yeah. He figures that inflicting the witches with sin might just work since they still have human desires, and then realizes that he no longer needs Tattoo Guy.
And so blows him up with some fancy red light.
Yeah. This, like, bright red light shoots out of Lucas's hands, flies into Tattoo Guy. He screams and disappears in a ball of flame, like all demons do.
Yep. Anyway, we cut over to the manor where Prue and Phoebe walk in the front door.
Prue leaves her jacket on, but Phoebe takes hers off, and we can see now that she's wearing what looks to be a lacy purple bra under a blue vest that is held together in the front by a single string, and the vest has a few patches on it and a pattern trimmed down the center, but is leaving very little to the imagination.
Very, very little.
And now we understand why, even with the coat zipped, we did not see a shirt, because there's no shirt to be seen.
Nope.
She is wearing a bra and a vest.
Yeah.
Just
About it. And pants, obviously.
Well, the jeans, but yeah.
Anyway, Prue gets little plastic boxy out of the bag. Phoebe tells her not to open it until she gets Piper. Prue questions why, and Phoebe's like, look, I don't want you running out into the street getting hit by a bus. Good reasoning.
Right. Phoebe then goes into the kitchen where Piper is making sushi for Leo. Now, sushi is a delicious Japanese dish, and I will
cuisine.
Well, yeah, it's a Japanese
category
thing, food thing,
genre.
Yeah,
it's a subgenre of Japanese food.
Yes, I will link to the wiki for that so that you can read about it.
Piper is wearing a lovely little red Asian style top with the little mandarin collar and the little ties.
And at this point, it looked like it was solid. From the angle that we saw this shirt the very first time, it looked like it was a solid red. However, it is not.
No, it's that typical like silk and not embroidered.
It's like lace. At the front of it, it's like lacy.
No, that's just the pattern on it.
No, it's like see-through lacy.
I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah.
I just finished watching the episode. That doesn't look like that to me.
It looked see-through lacy to me. I just finished watching it last night.
That doesn't necessarily mean much because your memory's not good.
Hey, I can remember 24 hours in the past, all right?
Can you?
Yes.
Can you?
Yes.
Can you?
Yes.
I still don't think it was like see-through.
It might
that's not how those tops work.
It might not have been completely see-through, but it was like at least from like chest up, like above the boob up. It looked like you could see her skin through it.
Want me to pause?
Yeah, pause. Give me a second.
Okay, so anyway, we have found out that Kat was indeed correct.
I am vindicated.
There are lacy bits up near the top. However, she was wrong about Phoebe's outfit. The vest is not held together by a string, but by a giant fucking safety pin.
Yes, that I apparently did miss because But I am vindicated.
And I am vindicated, but on a much lesser scale.
Yes.
That I wasn't actually arguing about.
Anyway, and the reason that I didn't realize that it was see-through in the very first scene is because her hair was covering it. And that's why I didn't notice it.
Yeah, anyway.
Her hair is half up, being held together by little red hair chopsticks. And it also seems a little longer than it before, but...
Again, I think that's probably just an optical illusion.
It could be.
Because, normally it has more volume, but because half of it's tied back.
Yeah, I don't know. Or, they could be letting
and
them
those
let their hair
those
grow.
are the longest layers, because they're right down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Whenever anyone layers their hair, they always start with the top. I've yet to see a hairdo wherein the bottom layers are shorter than the top layers, other than undercuts.
Yeah, I was going to say,
That's
an
the obvious
undercut
one.
growing out would be...
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I
mean, gradually, they layered it from the inside out.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious, though.
Anyway, Phoebe questions the amount of time and effort that Piper is putting into this little snack for Leo.
Piper says she enjoys taking care of him and doing little things for him and thinks about, getting him a whole new wardrobe to deflannel him. I'm like, yeah, that would make him seem like less of a lesbian. But he's also a handyman, so he's got that going against him.
I'm sorry, that just struck me. Oh, man.
There's the meme, are you a leather bisexual, a flannel bisexual, or a hoodie bisexual? And then a photo of Jake Peralta wearing all three.
Nice.
Love it.
Anyway, so she mentions thinking about buying him a whole new wardrobe to deflannel him a little, as you said. And then after a little bit of sisterly prodding about thinking that, Leo might be taken from her again, Piper says she's not going to give them any excuse because there's nothing in their vows that say they can't.
Yeah. And she's being all panicky.
Yeah.
Phoebe then tells her that she and Prue lost an innocent that morning, and they go to the living room where Prue is sitting on the couch looking very closely at the box.
She has now removed her jacket, and so we can see that she is wearing a long-sleeve, low-cut black top that should tie at the neck, but is untied, so the two ties are just, hanging down.
They're dangly bits.
And we can also see that she's got a lovely, chunky leather belt holding up her jeans.
Yeah.
It was a nice belt.
Yeah. Phoebe asks what she's doing, and Prue's like, opening the box, duh. Phoebe reminds her that she was supposed to wait for her and Piper, and Prue's like, well, you're here now, let's go.
Yeah. Phoebe grabs the box from her, saying that it might unleash some huge abomination, and Prue says that they can handle whatever it is. Piper says that they should probably ask her husband's opinion first, which Prue reminds them that they didn't need him, they didn't need to ask him when he was still just Leo.
And then he warps in.
And he's like, you called? And she's like, no, which I thought was very funny.
Yeah.
He's wearing a white t-shirt under a bluish-grayish plaid shirt with jeans.
Phoebe tells him that they intercepted a box from a demon and asks if he thinks they should open it. He very astutely asks if they've checked the Book of Shadows yet.
Piper calls him a genius and asks what they'd do without him. And Prue says that their lives, quote, wouldn't be this smooth-running, carefree existence that they are today, unquote. Which I thought was the funniest thing.
Oh, sarcasm.
It made me laugh so hard. That, passive-aggressive, sarcastic, cynical bullshit was beautiful.
Yeah, and then Piper tells Phoebe that her ethics professor called about meeting that day.
Phoebe starts to say that she can't go now, but Prue says that she's too close to graduating to mess it all up, and that she, Piper, and Leo can handle the box.
Prue does tell her that she might want to put on an actual shirt first, and Phoebe looks down at her outfit and realizes Prue is right.
Yeah.
They all head upstairs.
And we time jump. We see Prue, Piper, and Leo in the attic looking at the Book of Shadows, and it is open to a page on the 7 deadly sins, and we learn that the crystal box carries a ball for each of the 7 deadly sins, which was, quote, bottled at the source by the source, unquote, and it is meant to corrupt paragons of good.
They wrote that page just to make that pun.
They really did. Piper makes a joke about Pandora's box, which is a Greek myth where the word jar was misinterpreted and mistranslated as box.
Like,
It was
like
actually
how
a jar.
the word for halo was misinterpreted as horns by some sculptor doing Moses.
Uh-huh. Just like the word pomegranate was misinterpreted as apple.
That was my mother's name.
Okay.
It's from Angel.
Yes. Basically, it states that Pandora opened a jar she shouldn't have, and by the time she got around to closing it, the only thing left in the jar was hope. So she let out everything except hope.
Yeah, great move.
Yeah. I will, of course, link to the wiki for that.
And
on
then
the
Dora's
website.
got to go exploring.
Piper wonders how a paragon of good could be corrupted. And Leo says that no one is immune to sin, and whichever sin you're predisposed to is the one that attacks you.
We are shown what the Book of Shadows says each of the sins are.
And
We get
in order,
pride, an excessive belief in oneself.
envy, the desire for what others have.
Gluttony, the desire to overly indulge.
Lust, a craving for pleasures of the body.
Anger, uncontrollable fury.
Greed, a craving for material wealth.
Sloth, the avoidance for work.
So
Of
as
work, rather.
yes, and so I read that as peg legs.
Oh my god, it is!
Peg legs.
Pig legs.
Just the way that it was down the
That's
thing. I
an
was like,
acrostic.
there you go.
Anyway, Prue realizes that the businessman was attacked by greed, which is why he kept wanting more. Leo says that his greed was magnified 1,000 times.
Prue says that she thought her scry brought them to the unnatural activity of the demon courier, but it was really the sin working against the businessman's good nature.
Last businessman to have that. Yeah, it's a rare thing these days. Anyway, Piper wonders what they do now, and Leo says that destroying the demonic infector, Lucas, should make the sins lose their power.
Piper wonders if they can find a spell to remove the sin from an infected human in case Lucas strikes again, but Prue says that sins can't be removed magically because it's a part of all of us.
And then Piper raises an eyebrow and asks if she means even her.
And Prue jokingly replies that there may be a teeny little bit in her, teeny tiny, but nothing that anyone but her would even notice.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We cut to downstairs as Lucas appears
In the living room.
Yeah, in the, well, it's like the sitting area right by
Whatever.
the stairs.
Just appears in the house.
Yeah. Appears in the foyer-ish area. And back to the stairs and picks up the box that they left on the coffee table. He opens it and smiles, this little evil smile. Mm-hmm. And then Phoebe comes down the stairs.
She's now in gray pants and a pink shirt with a large flower on it with like little bell wrists and a string bow at the neck. So it's tied at the string, kind of like Prue's shirt, but hers is actually tied. She has that underneath a red fuzzy vest.
Furry, more like.
Yeah. And her hair is pulled up into a messy bun, and her bangs are out and curled, and it's adorable. I love her hair.
I love this. I
love this
hair
hair
on her.
Yeah, I love this hair on her a lot. It's super
Anyway,
cute.
she calls out to the rest of the family and then notices Lucas with the opened box.
Yeah.
And he kind of grabs one and he's like, ooh, this one's good for you, and just tosses it at her. Kind of like, when it punches into her, you kind of see like a shock wave effect go across her body.
And she glows red for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then Prue, Piper, and Leo come down the stairs, and they notice Lucas, and he flings a ball at each of them.
Yeah.
Leo glows blue, Prue glows purple, and Piper glows an orange.
Yeah.
Then Lucas disappears with the box.
Yeah. Phoebe asks, what just happened? Piper freaks out that they have been infected with those sin thingies.
Which is the best phrase.
Yes.
Those sin thingies.
Mm-hmm. Prue tells them not to panic and asks if anyone feels different. They all reply in the negative, of course.
Uh-huh.
And then Prue's like, oh, we must be immune since we're magical. And Leo says, I better orb up and ask.
Prue says that while he does that she and Piper will recheck the Book of Shadows, and tells Phoebe to get her butt to that meeting, charm the pants off her professor, and get back home as soon as possible.
Gee, I wonder which sin Phoebe got.
Yeah. Phoebe tries to protest, but Prue pushes her toward the door. And then we cut to Phoebe in her professor's office. And the professor is totally a that guy.
Yay!
He is played by Jim Jansen. He was born in Salt Lake City, Utah in 1945, and he has 130 acting credits between 1975 and 2016.
Including playing Reverend Archie Skinner on Gilmore Girls.
Yes. And now we get one of the most awkward scenes that I've had to sit through in a while.
I don't suffer through second-hand embarrassment very well, and I just had to not look at the screen for this because, like, I remembered what happened and, like, I could hear the dialogue. It's fairly obvious, but you just can't watch this train wreck.
I don't normally do the whole secondhand embarrassment thing. I really don't. But this was awkward as fuck.
Yeah.
The professor is kind of leaning back on his desk. She's sitting in a chair in front of him. He's leaned up against his desk. He's telling her that she's missed a bunch of classes and she still owes him a major paper and he's going to have to give her an incomplete because she's given him no other choice. And she starts acting all, like, sexy, kind of. She mentions she's not wearing any underwear because she finds it constricting, and says that she's been a very bad girl who will do anything to make it up to him and pass the class.
There have been so many better written porn scenes.
Yeah. She then grabs him, they fall over the desk onto the floor, we hear some glass break, and we go to commercial break.
And you know why it is she glowed red? Because she's hot-blooded!
Yes. Anyway. It's one of those scenes where, like, saying it the way that I just said it makes it much less awkward.
Yeah.
Watching it was very awkward.
I feel like it was unnecessary.
It was unnecessary. And
it was very unnecessary because, like, okay, granted, I love seeing Reverend Skinner, but, like, not in that context exactly.
I think, complete honesty, it's a scene that could have been done in the background. We didn't need to see it happen. We could have just heard about it happening.
And, spoiler alert, she mentions exactly what happened later when she comes back home.
Well, she doesn't mention it exactly, but she does bring it up. We'll get there.
I like the way she talks about it
exactly.
there.
Exactly.
Because she's properly embarrassed.
Yeah.
And she gets across the feeling of what happened.
Right.
Very quickly.
Right. And so it's definitely one of those scenes that could have been done where we didn't have to see it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we come back from our commercial break to Piper, sitting at the kitchen table, talking on the phone, and flipping through a magazine, catalog, something.
Mm-hmm. And it's Brand Central up in here. She mentions a few. We're not going to tangent on that shit. We're going to try not to tangent on much of anything to do with Piper and her particular sin, because...
Oh my god.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Guess what? She got gluttony.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So, I will, of course...
It's kind of the point.
I will, of course, link to all the wikis on the website, but let me tell you. So, she's talking about a few brands. The brands that she mentions are Armani, Donna Karan, Stuart Weitzman, Gucci, and Prada.
Yeah. Prue walks in, talking to her, but Piper shushes her while she's on the phone with Bloomingdale's.
Which I will also link to.
And then returns to the phone call to say that she's going to have to split her order between 2 credit cards. And, like, mentions, oh, you can put $5,000 on this one they have on file, and, like, blah, blah, blah.
And Piper,
before she can finish, Prue hangs up the phone on her.
Yeah, like, she's talking about $5,000 like it's no big deal. And I legit was like, dear God, what I could do with $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Prue hangs up the phone saying that she's saving Piper's life, or at least her credit rating, which I thought was very funny. I will link to that as well.
Yeah, Piper says that Leo needs suits.
Prue reminds her that Leo doesn't wear suits. And Piper's like, yet? Which I did think was kind of funny.
Yeah. She then picks up a champagne glass and has a sip, much to Prue's surprise, since it's the middle of the day.
Piper says that she was, quote, a little bummed about this sin thing, unquote, and thought she deserved a little indulgence.
And then she picks up some chocolate truffles.
Yeah, she offers some bubbly to Prue, who declines in lieu of help tracking down Lucas. Piper apologizes, and Prue sits down, and she says that these sin balls work faster than they thought, and that an infected victim only has a few hours before being driven into self-destruction.
Piper says, as she's biting into a truffle, it's a good thing we weren't infected.
Prue says that she wonders who's going to get infected, since every time she tries to scry for unnatural activity, she just keeps getting pointed back to the manor.
Gee, I wonder why.
I wonder.
Just then, Phoebe runs in,
literally,
sits down, and says that her ethics professor kicked her out of his class. Prue asks what happened. Phoebe says she doesn't know. That in 1 minute, she was explaining why her paper was late, and the next thing she knew, she was unzipping his pants with her teeth. Mm-hmm. And this is a great, succinct way of saying what that entire previous scene was that we didn't need to fucking have.
Exactly. Prue says that charm the pants off of someone is just a figure of speech, and Phoebe is just glad she realized what was happening before. Ew. Which, again, yeah.
Piper has walked over to the counter and brought back a pie.
As she starts eating it right out of the pan with a fork, Prue says that Phoebe has been infected with the sin of lust.
And Piper, with a mouthful of pie, is surprised that Prue thinks they have been infected now.
And Prue just looks at Piper and goes, gluttony, table for one.
Yep.
Which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then Piper calls out for Leo.
Prue says that Leo is in the living room watching TV, and all of the girls head in that direction.
And we go into the living room, and we see Leo laying on the couch with empty soda cans and Jones soda bottles sitting on the table. Mm-hmm. I think I've mentioned Jones before, so I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah, Piper asks what he's doing. He's like, I'm just kicking back. She says, there's something wrong with this picture, and then heads back into the kitchen to get him some potato chips.
Yeah. Phoebe asks Leo to turn on MTV because she thinks Carson Daly is hot. And she sits next to him on the couch. Now, again, links instead of tangents. I will link.
Yeah.
Apparently, I was feeling a bit slothy.
Yeah.
In this. Links, not tangents. Because,
it's a lot.
There's so much.
There's so much.
Like, legit, this episode, if I tangented on everything, this would be the longest episode we've ever done.
Uh-huh.
And I can't.
We once recorded for 8 hours.
10. We once recorded for 10 hours.
Including the time we spent outside of the house because we didn't turn off the recording equipment.
Yeah.
That was not a good decision.
No, that was very silly of us.
Nope.
We took the dog out and forgot to forgot to pause. It's a thing. Anyway,
Prue turns off the TV and tries to get everyone back on track. She asks Leo what the elders thought about Lucas's sneak attack, and he tells her...
He says that he got tired halfway through orbing up and came back, and that he deserves a little downtime after 60 years of constant vigilance.
I think Matt and I would have some things to say about that. Anyway, during this exchange, we see Phoebe preening a bit in his direction.
Uh-huh.
And then when Piper walks in carrying a bowl of chips and hands them to Leo... He thanks her and says that they'll make him thirsty.
Yeah, though he does. I do think that's still the sweetest thing, though. He does thank her for them.
Yeah, it's cute, but he's so fucking lazy.
Yeah, but he does thank her, so it's not like he's a dick about it, you know. Like she comes in and here, honey, oh thanks, sweetheart. Like he does thank her, but then he says that they'll make him thirsty, and so yeah. The doorbell then rings. Piper goes to answer it. And a couple of flower delivery guys bring in many bunches of flowers.
Many bunches of flowers.
Which Piper calls out as gorgeous, which gets Phoebe's attention, which I thought was hilarious.
She walks into the foyer and says she loves a man in uniform to one of the flower delivery guys.
Yeah. Prue asks who sent the flowers, and Piper says that she sent them to herself.
Phoebe continues flirting with the delivery guys, and then Prue kicks all of them out.
Yeah, nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Phoebe questions why she kicked them out, and Prue says that unless they want the flowers at their funeral, they'd better get a grip because they've been infected.
Yep.
And when she says they, she doesn't, of course, mean herself.
Yeah.
She says that Piper is infected with gluttony, Phoebe with lust, and then they walk back into the living room as Leo burps and says that he is infected with sloth.
And I would rate that burp at about a 3.5.
Yeah, it wasn't that great.
No.
But, you know.
Anyway, Piper wonders why she got gluttony since she doesn't overeat, and Prue says that she does overdo, and reminds them that sins are drawn to their predispositions, and she's been about excess lately.
Phoebe asks what Prue was hit with, and Prue says that she didn't get hit. But Phoebe says that she saw Prue get hit.
And Prue says, oh, I must be strong enough to fight it off. And I'm not showing any symptoms, which is good, because one of us needs to be able to keep our wits about us.
And then she sees the news on TV and tells Leo to turn up the volume. And he does, and we're shown a news report. We see a female news anchor and a male news reporter. And so, let me tell you about them really quickly. The news anchor is played by Kimberly Wallace. She was born in Long Beach, California in 1970. She only has 20 acting credits so far since 1997, but she does have a picture on IMDb. Mm-hmm. The reporter is played by Danny Ricardo. He only has 3 acting credits. An episode of NYPD Blue and an episode of Angel, both in 2000, where he played a cop in both of those, and then this episode of Charmed in 2001. That's it. And no picture on IMDb.
Yeah. The TV report shows a SWAT team showing up at Bay City Motor Cars because Pastor Roger Tremble, fun name,
yep,
is threatening to shoot and kill a hostage if his demands are met. Those demands are apparently an XK convertible Jaguar in British racing green.
Yes, he has a very specific demand, and that is it.
Yeah, there is apparently a place called Bay City Motors in San Leandro, California, which is only about 30 minutes away from San Francisco across the water, so, like, plausible.
Yeah, it's plausible. I won't bother linking to Bay City Motors because it's a car company and nobody really cares.
She's, however, going to link to Jaguar cars.
I will absolutely link to Jaguar cars because...
Phoebe mentions the reporter is cute, and then that the pastor was probably infected with envy.
Yeah. Piper seems less than convinced, but Leo says that he fits the profile as a paragon of good, driven to an act of self-destruction.
Prue says that they can't let Lucas get any more innocent souls, and then drags Phoebe away from the TV and asks Piper if she's coming.
Piper says that she's going to stay with Leo, but she'll come if they want her to.
Prue says it's fine, even if she has to do everything herself, and calls Phoebe after her. They leave, and then Piper looks at Leo.
And we get one of my favorite moments between them in this episode.
Yeah. She asks if he thinks Prue is mad. He says probably, and eats another chip.
And
then he moves over a little bit on the couch so she can sit down next to him.
It was so cute. It was like... by far. And, like, the look that she gives him, though, when he says probably was also my favorite thing ever. She's like, oh. And that, like, God damn it, you're probably right. She is probably mad at me.
Yeah, anyway, so, Piper, after getting Leo to scoot over so she can plop down, we get an insert shot of the TV on a shopping channel.
Yeah, we are shown a deluxe Tiffany stained glass flamingo on sale for $99.95 plus $30 shipping and handling.
That's exorbitant.
Yeah. And then Leo changes the channel. Piper asks him to go back to it, which he groans about, but does, and she asks him to hand her the phone. He does, and she starts to dial, as we are then shown an ornate Asian curio cabinet for only $999.95, plus $50 shipping and handling.
Again, exorbitant.
Yeah.
We cut over to Bay City Motors, where SWAT is getting into positions around the building, and Prue and Phoebe are walking with Daryl.
And I'm still not sure where the jurisdiction lines, like, line up in this, but it's TV, so we allow it. Because
they do not line up at all.
If he is a San Francisco cop, there's no reason he should be anywhere anywhere except San Francisco.
Also, he's supposed to be homicide.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are many, many things where it is TV, so we let it go.
Yeah.
But
anyway, Prue has on her brown leather jacket again, and Phoebe has now got a black coat with orange cuffs and lining.
Yep, she didn't go back for the pink jacket. She went for a different one, but I kind of like that Prue wore the same jacket.
Yeah.
Whereas Phoebe did not. Anyway, Daryl is in black pants, a black suit jacket, and a blue shirt with a patterned tie under a tan trench coat, looking fine as always.
Mm-hmm. And Prue is busy telling him to let her handle it.
Which he says he can't just let her do that because, he gets enough flack from SWAT as it is.
And she threatens to just astral project inside.
Mm-hmm.
Phoebe notices the officer who flirted with her earlier and gives an excited flirty hello from across the little cordon.
Yeah, he notices her, he smiles back, and he takes off his hat and, does this little smile flirty thing. Prue tries to keep Phoebe on point to save the innocent, and Daryl asks her to let the hostage negotiators do their job.
She asks what the plan is, and he says they're going to try and talk him down and wait him out, because that's what works in most cases.
Prue says that it's not going to work this time because he's been infected, and he needs to trust her that it's only going to get worse.
He asks what she'd do to resolve it. She says there's only one thing to do, and power walks into the fucking store.
Yeah. She power walks toward the building. Daryl freaks out, calling out to SWAT to hold their fire, and then notices that Phoebe has gone missing.
And he kind of spins around looking for her, very hilariously.
Yeah.
We cut inside the building as Prue walks in. The pastor is a lovely little Irish man, holding a gun up to the salesman's throat, saying, "I can't wait much longer."
Yeah, the pastor is played by Julio Hertzer. He only has 4 acting credits between 1985 and 2001. I mean, he didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
She calls out to him. He turns around and points the gun at her. He asks who she is. She says that she's there to help and, he needs to put the gun down.
He tells her to leave. She just says she wants to talk. And he says, "I want my Jag or I swear I'll shoot you."
She tries to explain that he's been infected with sin, but he doesn't listen.
Great tactic right there, Prue.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah. Yeah, she tries to use her power to fling the gun away, but it doesn't fly out of his hand.
It does kind of move his hand a little bit.
It moves, but it only serves to piss him off.
Mm-hmm.
And he shoots at her. We cut to outside. Everyone hears the shot, crouches down, and screams a little bit. Daryl grabs a megaphone and uses it to call out to Prue.
And there's a few moments of tense silence, and then Prue walks out with the salesman.
She says that everything is under control, salesman needs medical attention, and that the pastor also needs medical attention because she kicked his ass and he's knocked out. And she has this, like, very, very flippant attitude going on that's really fun to watch.
Yeah. Everyone applauds, and the news reporters rush up to Prue. And one of the reporters is the one from TV earlier, and the other is played by Beverly Sotelo. She's only got 7 acting credits between 2000 and 2011. And again, no pictures on IMDb.
Yeah. And Prue, in her hubris, tells them her name and that it's her job to protect the innocent, and then starts to say that she doesn't work for the police as Daryl grabs her and drags her away and says that she's just a good Samaritan and they should ask no further questions.
I will link to the parable of the Good Samaritan for those who want to read about it. It's actually really fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
if you like that sort of thing.
I got asked in a grocery store if I was a good Samaritan by a lady, and I was very startled because I was staring at, I was just, like, staring at stuff, and I saw she was, like, walking around and, like, asking people stuff, and I'm just like, religious nutbag. She's like, are you a good Samaritan? I'm like, no. And turns out she just needed a ride to the train station, and this was, like, in the middle of December, and it was bitch-ass cold outside.
Yeah, see, but you shouldn't just walk up to people and, are you a good Samaritan?
Yeah, I gave her a ride, and she was calling out Jewel employees for being racist assholes. Black lady.
Well, you know.
We had a nice chat on the way. It was like half a mile away, but again, bitch ass cold out. And not walking.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not exactly the best way of approaching somebody.
Yeah.
In that way, you know? Like, it worked out for the best, but not always the best tack to take.
Really, really not. I don't even know how she ended up at this grocery store.
Yeah.
Like, I have zero clue. Did someone give her a ride there? Did she walk there? Like, clearly not from the train station. Don't know.
Yep. Anyway. Prue gets annoyed that Daryl stopped her from talking to the press, but he says that they will destroy her. And she says that nothing can destroy her.
At which point he notices she is bleeding from the arm.
Yeah, she looks at her arm and sees that there is indeed a gash on
the underside.
On the underside of her arm, and her hand is covered in blood because that's what happens.
Because that's a lot closer to your brachial artery than the other side of your arm.
She realizes that the bullet must have grazed her. He questions why she didn't feel it, and she says that it must have been the adrenaline, which could very well be a thing.
Yeah. Daryl asks Prue if she has a death wish, since he's never seen her run towards the danger that way before, and she finally realizes she's been infected.
And that also makes her realize why her powers didn't work.
And because Daryl doesn't know what the fuck is going on, he asks. And Prue's like, I don't have time.
Yeah, I don't have time to explain. Because that's, you know, of course, always the thing.
Yeah, she instructs Daryl to put Pastor Tremble... I'm seriously loving that name.
Yep.
Pastor Tremble in a psychiatric hospital so he can't hurt himself or others. And that no one can know where he is, otherwise the demon will find him and kill him.
And Daryl agrees, but he isn't sure how long he can keep it a secret. She says that she just needs it to be a secret long enough to find and vanquish the demon, and then she calls out for Phoebe, having realized that she's gone missing. Finally.
Yep. Anyway, we cut inside a SWAT truck where Phoebe is there making out with Officer Cutie, as she then refers to him.
No, she doesn't refer to him that until later.
But, I know, but I'm going to go with it.
Yeah. So,
despite not sharing her opinion. So, anyway... He doesn't have his jacket or his hat on anymore.
Yeah.
And she starts undressing him by pulling off his clip-on tie.
Which is a thing in cop uniforms.
I love it.
I love it.
So efficient.
Yeah, well, and it's also because that way if a suspect or somebody grabs at it, it just comes off.
Yeah,
you don't choke yourself.
Uh-huh. I love it.
Makes perfect sense.
And then she reaches into her bag and pulls out a strip of condoms.
Yeah. Like Yeah.
Like, Magnum XL condoms.
Oh, yeah. She puts it into her mouth and rips one of the condoms off of the strip with her teeth. And that's when Daryl opens the door.
Daryl rightfully
Yells at the cop. And Prue yells at Phoebe.
The officer says he can explain, but Daryl grabs him, pulls him off the truck. Prue pulls Phoebe out of the truck, grabs her vest and coat, and then forces Phoebe back into her clothes.
No. My favorite is she forces Phoebe back into the vest.
Yeah.
Like the vest is going to cover anything. She's not even uncovered. Her shirt is still on. But she's like, put this on. Rah, rah, rah. And it was just funny. I thought it was funny. And then, like, she forces her back in the vest and then starts to tie the bow on her shirt. Because that's the only thing that's been undone.
Yeah.
Prue says that her sin isn't as fun as Phoebe's. Phoebe said that, I thought you didn't get hit. And Prue said, yeah, that was the pride talking, and that almost got me killed. Phoebe says that Prue doesn't seem all that different, to which Prue is all back at ya. And then they say that they need to get home and track down the demon. Phoebe says that she's having too much fun, so she'll see Prue later, but Prue's like, no, there won't be a later if I don't get you home.
Yeah. And she wraps Phoebe up in her coat and they
face first,
and then pushes her off screen. And we cut over to Daryl and Officer Cutie. Daryl chews him out very satisfyingly, and I love the diction that Daryl's got going on here.
Yeah,
he's like, and the officer tries to say, "Oh no, she attacked me to give me much of a choice." Daryl's like, "That's a pathetic excuse. You're fucking suspended, boy. Turn in your gun and your badge at the station."
Yeah. Now here's my only thing, right? In this day and age of all of the things, the fact that Daryl was like, she attacked you, that's a pathetic excuse. No, Daryl.
Well, he has a very good point that this was in the middle of a hostage crisis.
No, I get that.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
But my point still stands. Is like that stereotypical thing of men can't get sexually assaulted.
Yeah, like,
quote unquote.
That's fair, but like also, how else would she have gotten into the SWAT truck if not for him?
Yeah.
So obviously Daryl can see, oh, this is a bullshit line. You're trying to save yourself.
Yeah. No, and I get that, and that's why I'm letting it go. Yeah. But it was that moment of like, no. Don't be mad at men.
He wasn't pushing that line very hard.
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to say she attacked him, but it's clearly like, hey, let me just reach around in my butthole and see what I can pull out of my ass here.
Yeah.
Hey, this'll work.
Yeah. Like, and that's why I say, that's why I'm willing to let this one go. But it's, it's that, no, Daryl, don't just blow it off because men don't get assaulted that way. Because, yeah. Anyway, Daryl walks away. Officer Cutie is upset with his suspension, and then Lucas appears.
And says, anger is one of the 7 deadly sins. He gets out the box and hits Dean with the anger symbol.
Now, we have a bit of a continuity error. When Lucas opens the box, we see 2 balls inside the box. He flings one at Dean, and then in the wide shot, we see there is 1 ball left in the box. That makes sense, right? But in the close-up, the box is completely empty.
Yep. And also still glowy, because the bot, like, I guess they have LEDs in the box itself or whatever.
Yeah, the continuity with this box.
Yeah, no.
And its glowy bits. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we go to commercial break. We come back to Prue and Phoebe walking up to the door of the manor.
Phoebe's annoyed that Prue wouldn't drive by the fire station so she could go ogle the firemen.
Yeah, little look-see.
Yeah. Prue says that Phoebe and Piper need to get their sins under control, and they walk into the manor, where every single square inch of spare space is filled with all sorts of boxes and items. Yeah. And we're going to read off a small list of the shit we spotted in these next few scenes, because we don't want a tangent about this, and honestly, it's quite the smorgasbord.
It is. So here is just a small list of the things that I noticed. There is a gold table and a rug, and the rug is still rolled up and in plastic by the front door.
We have a Panasonic box, which is a Japanese electronics company, possibly a TV. I think it's like a flat screenish type thing.
No, they wouldn't have had flat screens yet.
No. I mean, like, it's a large flat
screen.
Analogous to a flat screen, but like the tube style, whatever. My friend had one of these.
Yeah. Then there is, we can see a large boxy TV, which is possibly from this Panasonic box, playing a surfing scene, which is also playing some music, which the song reminded me of Rock Lobster a little bit.
Oh, is that a surf song thing?
No, not really. It was just for some reason my brain took that song and just started singing Rock Lobster. I don't know.
Anyway, there is a box stating a 13-inch TV.
Yeah.
Oh, the extravagance.
I know, right? Yeah, it's a Philips Magnavox TV box. But so Philips is a Dutch tech company, and Magnavox is an American electronics company. And back in 2000, they kind of were together, but not really. It's very weird.
Yeah, they would have labeled that It's Complicated on Facebook.
Exactly. Anyway, there is a Land's End box, and Land's End is an American clothing and home decor company.
A Tefal box, which is a French cookware company. Also Tefal.
Yeah, it's in America. The Tefal is marketed as T-F-A-L. But
I think
France,
they used to have
like
that thing
everywhere
where, like,
else, it's T-E-F-A-L.
Didn't they used to have that thing where, like, the red dot in the center of the pan would turn red, like, when it was ready?
Yeah, or it would turn white.
Yeah, I think they stopped doing that.
Yeah, they stopped
anyway,
doing
a Nutred computers box doesn't seem to be a real company.
At least not anymore.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything about it.
Yeah.
There's a box for a toaster, 2 bicycles, a large stuffed dog that was like shades of brown.
A very large wooden crate that's about the size of several fridges, with fragile written on it multiple times in several languages.
Yep, including some Asian dialect. A box from Grindmaster Corporation, which is a company that seems to specialize in restaurant-grade beverage equipment.
A Nintendo 64 box, some pretty art pieces, more rugs, something wicker under brown paper.
Yeah. There's a large water fountain that is not turned on, a large stuffed Hello Kitty, lots of VHS tapes, which I thought was very funny, lots of clothes.
A few statues and art pieces, a giant beach umbrella, which they might have used in that one episode.
Nope, it was a different beach umbrella.
Oh my god.
Different color scheme.
An exercise bike, and a large bronze bust of some guy with swoopy hair that we can't identify.
Yeah, I could not tell you who it was, but it was the swoopy hair.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's a box for Gateway, which is an American computer company.
One of those martial arts training dummies like we saw in season 1 that Phoebe was working with.
A pinball machine that is the Fishtails pinball machine, which was made back in 1992, and it is literally a pinball game where the theme is fishing. And I will link to the wiki for that one, absolutely. You should check that one out, because this was the very first pinball machine of its kind where they made the flippers at the bottom just slightly shorter, so it made it even harder.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a fascinating read. I love it.
That's evil.
Yeah. And the last box that I will mention is a Kenwood Corporation box, which is a Japanese electronics company, not to be confused with Kenwood Limited, which is a UK kitchen appliance manufacturer. And the only difference is that Kenwood, the Japanese one, the W, the top bit of the W where it looks like a little V is in red.
Yeah.
And the Kenwood Limited, the UK one, in the K, the V part of the K is in red.
Weird.
That's really the only difference. The font is slightly different, but that's the biggest difference between how you can tell them apart.
Strange.
Yeah, and that's how I could tell them apart.
Yeah. Anyway, Piper literally slides in from the living room, says the Pashminas have arrived, and beckons them to follow her.
Yeah. A delivery man walks past carrying long metal strip thingies, which we have no idea what they are or what they're for or why.
And the only reason Piper isn't decapitated, as she jokes in a second, is because this isn't a Final Destination movie.
Yeah. So she ducks under just as he swings around, and they walk into another room filled with stuff.
Presumably the dining room or the sitting room.
I don't know.
Maybe the wicker room. Who knows? We can't tell. We can't see windows. There's too much shit.
Yes. And next to the fountain, the water fountain that we saw, she pulls a blue pashmina out of the box and shows it off. Now, pashminas, which are made of wool and known for their softness and warmth, can range in size from scarf to wrap to shawl. In this case, it seems to be shawl-sized.
Yeah, Prue asks how she got the stuff so fast, and Piper lets it slip that she used magic so she couldn't wait 6 to 8 weeks for delivery.
Yeah. It was, I let my fingers do the walking and the calling and the flipping. And Prue's just like, flipping? You mean like Book of Shadows?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Prue calls her out on the personal gain, and Piper tries to say that they need the stuff.
Yeah, they need all of this stuff.
Phoebe leaves the room as Prue tries to tell Piper that she's being consumed by her sin.
And the way that Phoebe leaves the room, she kind of gets this, like, ooh, there's something over there that I must go see. And she
Yeah.
kind of just slinks off. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Anyway, Piper ignores Prue and turns on the water fountain, which she says is soothing. It is also very loud.
It is very loud. And Prue is just confounded.
Absolutely.
She just looks at this like, the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
It was great.
Cut to the living room. Leo is laying on the couch watching The Surfer on the TV.
Yeah.
Phoebe moves over to him, tries to get his attention.
But he is focused on the TV. And she sits down next to him, saying that she's more exciting than the TV.
And starts untying the top that Prue tied for her.
Yeah, she starts to untie the top. He doesn't react, so she turns off the TV. And he immediately tries to grab for the remote. And as he does, he kind of falls onto her.
Yeah.
And then Piper walks in and yells at Phoebe to get her slutty hands off my husband.
Phoebe says that since Prue won't let her leave the house, she's trying to make do with what she has and strokes Leo's chest.
Yeah. Phoebe stands up with the line of, get your slutty hands off my husband. Phoebe stands up and says, make me.
So Piper grabs the bronze bust and gets ready to throw it.
Yeah, swoopy hair, bronze bust.
Leo
has the best moment.
Oh my god.
I
He's
love it.
worried. He yells out because he's like, no,
Watch
don't
the
hurt the
remote."
remote.
I love it so much.
Yeah, Prue runs in
God.
and grabs the bust from Piper and
She-
reminds them that there's still a demon to vanquish and an innocent to save.
Phoebe is confused because she's like, well, no, because Daryl hid the pastor. And Prue reminds her that envy is just the sixth sin, so there's got to be someone out there infected with anger.
Phoebe sits back down next to Leo. Prue puts the statue down and asks Leo to orb up to the elders and find out what they know.
And Phoebe does this weirdly adorable thing where she like bites her teeth in Leo's direction.
Like a kind of chomp
yeah,
weird thing.
it was just funny enough, but it was like that trying to be sexy, like you know, like I don't know. It was yeah, it was weirdly adorable. Anyway,
Leo says
that
he's too tired to orb. So Prue hits him real hard in the arm and tries to remind him that it's his job as a white lighter, to which he replies, you never listen to me anyway, and then yawns and decides to orb upstairs for a nap.
He orbs out, and Prue tries to say that they don't need him since they have the power of 3, and then she looks at her sisters. Phoebe has picked up the catalog for Saks Fifth Avenue and starts looking at it like it's porn.
Like, reorienting itself as though there is a pinup poster in it.
Yeah.
Piper has put in a pair of boxing gloves and is tapping them together with a really adorable smile on her face.
Yeah, I will see if I can find a GIF for that. I will try and make sure that one's up on
yes,
Tumblr
please,
at some point.
Absolutely.
If you go to the Tumblr, at some point there will be a GIF of things that we have talked about,
Yeah.
because that's how I do. But yeah, it was adorable and funny.
Yeah, we jump over to the exterior of the police station as Officer Cutie walks outside to his car.
He is in dark gray pants, a brown checked shirt, and a tan jacket, and he's carrying a black duffel bag. And this is how you know I didn't change this particular line. He puts the bag in the boot of his car.
Yep.
And shuts the door.
And then Lucas appears behind him and asks if we found out where they're hiding the pastor, which of course Cutie did not.
Yeah, since no one's talking to him. Lucas gets upset by this, and Dean tries to yell at him, and then grabs his chest in pain.
And Lucas expounds upon this, saying that the burning rage saps you of all of your strength and reason, and the relentless screams lock out all the hope.
Yep.
And tells him to use that against the Hallowells.
And then he pulls a gun out of the officer's belt.
The gun that he was supposed to turn in, presumably.
Well, see, here's the thing, right? So he tells him to make the Halliwells tell him where the pastor is, since anger always feels better with a target. Now, if he was suspended, he should have had to give in his gun and his badge. So it makes me wonder, this doesn't look like a service pistol. This does look like possibly his personal piece. But you'd think he would still have a holster for it.
Yeah.
And being a cop, he would know you shouldn't put your gun in your belt.
Definitely not.
Just saying, as someone who has a FOID card, I don't own a gun, but I have handled guns. There's no fucking way I would have a gun anywhere near my body.
Yep. Not without being properly holstered.
Without being properly holstered. Because...
And safety on.
Yeah, like, no. That's how you lose parts of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, don't fuck around, people.
Yep.
Don't fuck around.
Yeah, anyway, we cut over to an exterior night shot, shakily pushing in through a tree with no leaves to land on the manor.
The girls are up in the attic.
Prue is looking through the Book of Shadows, lamenting, there's nothing in here.
From the lame witches who preceded them, which I think is hilarious.
Piper is sitting in a tall wooden chair, wearing a frilly, feathery cuffed white robe over her outfit. 1 foot in a portable foot spa filled with water and a lamp without a shade next to her as she paints her fingernails.
Yeah, Phoebe is laying in a chair, clutching a shirt button from Officer Cutie. This is when she coins that phrase.
And apparently having the best premonitions of her life.
Seeing as the visions are apparently sexual in nature. And if, what did she say? Something about the main show is anything like the previews. Whoa.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, we're gonna just slink on past that one.
Yeah, anyway.
Prue comes to the conclusion that she's on her own to save the innocents and vanquish the demons since the others are too self-absorbed to help her.
Piper reaches over to grab a towel,
which is apparently wrapped around the lamp and without a shade.
And then knocks the lamp over. It breaks and into the hot foot spot, and she gets electrocuted and, like, tumbles backward.
Yeah, she falls backwards over the chair. Though, to be fair, had that lamp actually fallen from where it was positioned, it wouldn't have landed in the water.
Correct.
Because it was a tall lamp.
Very tall.
And it was right next to the foot spa.
Yeah.
There's no reason she should have gotten electrocuted.
But yeah, she tumbles backward and does like a backward somersault and then lands on her butt.
Yeah, and Prue immediately runs over to see if she's okay. And Phoebe barely sits up in her chair to glance in Piper's direction. She kind of does like the sit-up thing and goes, oh, she's okay, and lays back down.
Yeah. Piper says that she feels strange, and Prue realizes that only having 1 foot in the water is the only reason she's not dead right now.
Yep, and that's when Phoebe goes back to staring at her button.
Yeah. Prue helps Piper up, and then the doorbell rings, and Phoebe looks out the window and sees Officer Cutie standing on the porch.
So, minding you, they're in the attic. She opens up the attic window, wide as can be.
Yeah.
Calls out to Officer Cutie that she's coming down, and then leans so far out the window that she almost falls out, and Prue just happens to get to her in time to grab her by the foot and pull her back in.
Phoebe says, that was close, and then runs out of the attic.
Doesn't thank her, nothing.
And Piper tells Prue that they just have different priorities, which is done with a really great, like, kind of, like, twitchy, like, my muscles are still spasming a little kind of acting.
Yeah.
That I love Holly for doing.
Yeah, it was quite nice.
And then offers to buy Prue some shoes as a pick-me-up and heads for the door.
Yeah. We cut downstairs as Phoebe opens the front door, and she's trying to be flirty with Officer Cutie, and he says that it isn't a social call, walks inside, and slams the door shut behind him, and grabs her.
She's into it at first. She asks if they're role-playing and about his handcuffs, and then he gets out his gun and shoves it at her.
He asks where the pastor is. She says she doesn't know. He says she's lying and shoves her into some boxes.
And then starts throwing more boxes around and punching things, and says, is yelling about her getting him suspended because of her, and points the gun at her again, says she'll pay for ruining his life.
Phoebe has crawled over to the stairs. She's at the base of the stairs. She begs him not to shoot. And then Piper walks down the stairs and screams about her stuff being broken, which I thought was very funny. She just kind of goes, my stuff!
My things! My beautiful things!
Yeah. He points the gun at Piper. She flings out her hands to freeze him.
And then Phoebe gets to the middle landing of the stairs before he just unfreezes and shoots at her.
And
his bullet goes through that Tiffany flamingo lamp we saw her order earlier, and it breaks its neck.
Yeah, and I just thought that was hilariously funny. Like, I like how that paid off, though.
Yeah.
We got shown that one predominantly on the TV, and then here it is already at the house.
Anyway, Piper ducks and wonders aloud why her powers aren't working. He asks again where the pastor is, and Piper says she doesn't know.
And then Phoebe jumps over the banister, jumps at him, knocking him down. He shoots the gun into the air, and we get
a lovely
Rube Goldberg machine type scene that only works because TV.
Yes.
So, let me really quickly, for those who may not know, a Rube Goldberg machine is a machine that is intentionally designed to perform a simple task in an indirect and overcomplicated fashion. Hence the reason
wonderful to watch.
They are. Hence the reason this is what this scene is. But let me tell you, it only works because TV.
Yeah.
Piper falls down the stairs, knocks into a large stuffed dog, which rams into the pinball machine, which makes a huge shelf full of stuff fall down, knocking into the martial arts training dummy, which knocks into some rolled up carpets that were standing on end, forcing the wooden crate to fall on top of her, which only gets stopped from crushing her completely by the Kenwood box. So that's right, the large wooden crate was felled by carpet and stopped by cardboard.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Uh-huh.
Just saying.
Piper tries to climb out from under the crate. Her robe is now under her for some reason, and it's not even on her.
Which it was on her before the crate dropped on top of her.
Weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, she looks over to see Phoebe unconscious on the floor, bleeding from her ear, and then just passes out. Dean comes to and stands back up just as Prue is coming down the stairs. He yells in pain and grabs his stomach, and then it looks like he's being forced to, like, turn the gun on himself. It's like the posture with
I don't think it looked like he was being forced. It was like he was trying to turn it on himself. And
okay.
It was like he was acting against his own will in trying to kill himself.
Honestly, it looked like it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
It looked like either, someone was moving his hand, kind of, or, like, he was trying to do that, but his hand wasn't wanting to do, like, it...
And see, I took it as he was trying to work against the anger.
And he's yelling. So he's yelling.
Yeah, he's yelling in pain, gripping his stomach, and trying to point the gun at his own head.
Yeah, and Prue just, like, does this lovely, like, flinging, like, constant flinging with her arms, and all these things go flying into him.
So here's my question, right? Prue, with the pastor trying to fling the gun away, barely could get his arm to move.
Yeah.
And now she is flinging random shit around the room, including a completely different stuffed animal, in boxes and all sorts of shit, and eventually she makes him fly backwards into a short bookcase.
Yeah.
And breaking that, which brings our furniture annihilation quotient up to 16 for the season and 42 for the series.
Yep.
But, like, why is her power all of a sudden working?
Because he's not threatening her, so it's not self-defense.
I don't know. It was weird. Anyway.
Either she's trying to protect him from shooting himself, or she's trying to protect her sisters from a guy with a gun. Either way, it's not for her, which is why it's working.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because before, she was trying to stop the pastor from shooting at her. Which is why she couldn't move it.
I guess. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway.
So
she looks down at the unconscious Piper and Phoebe, and then Lucas appears behind her on the stairs, grabs her, saying she can't save what's already lost, and then disappears with her, and we go to commercial break.
We come back to Phoebe, still unconscious on the floor, and we get a lovely...
Still bleeding from the ear.
We get a lovely shot of the line of blood traveling down her ear.
Yeah. Piper, now completely devoid of robe, crawls over to Phoebe and feels for a pulse, so at some point Piper came to.
Yeah. She crawls over to the stairs, calling out for Leo, starts to try to climb them, yelps, because ow.
Yeah.
And then continues, like, going up the stairs,
calling out for Leo.
For Leo.
And, like, at this point, you can tell she's in some sort of pain, but you can't really tell what's wrong.
Yeah.
You just know that it is hard for her to move.
It's internal.
Yeah. We cut up to Piper's room, where Leo is sound asleep on the bed.
Mm-hmm. Piper limps into her room, asking Leo to wake up, and then falls over and knocks some more things off of her dresser. And when she... between the glass and her crying out in pain, this wakes Leo up, and he runs over to her.
And this, as soon as he gets to her, he's struck with a bright light that makes him go, like, stick straight for a second.
And we see a ball go out of his back.
Yep. She mentions that he glowed. He says it doesn't matter, asks where she's hurt, and she's like, no, you have to help Phoebe first, and then find Prue, because she's been taken by the demon.
And
now,
then the same thing
how
happens.
she knows that, since she was supposedly unconscious. She had supposedly passed out.
Yeah, I know. Stupid
Just
writers.
saying. Just saying.
Come on, writers.
She is then struck with a bright light, and he mentions that she glowed too.
Yeah, it's like the reverse of when they got hit by the balls, except instead of, like, spreading from the chest as the ball goes into them, it's coming out the back.
Right. She asked if he healed her. He said that he hadn't yet, and then he does. And he realizes that they must have gotten rid of the sins. She thought that couldn't happen via magic, and he says, no, it was a human thing. Us being selfless overcame it. You know, I felt love for you, you felt love for your sisters, and therefore we were selfless enough to think of others, and so forth. We are now sinless. Because that's how they had to write that. They It did, though, make me think for just a moment about Prue going over to Piper when she was electrocuted, because that didn't have anything to do with Prue. That was immediately making sure her sister was okay. Yeah. But apparently that wasn't enough.
No. Yeah, no. Whatever. Anyway, Piper thinks that Phoebe must have gotten rid of her sin because she risked her life to save Piper, and they both run downstairs.
Even though we never saw Phoebe glow.
No, we never saw her lose a ball.
Right. And then we get this weirdly creepy shot where we see Phoebe's unconscious body, and then Leo's hand coming slowly toward her face and ear.
Yeah, from behind.
Yeah, it was just weirdly creepy, because it was like, why is he being all slow and steady, and why is it?
Anyway, he says that she's still breathing, heals her, and she sits up, line of blood now gone.
Right.
She asks why he's up. He says, "Oh, I'm fixing you." And then she asks about Prue, and Piper says that they need to find her because, while she won't admit it, she's in big trouble.
And then we cut to Prue at Lucas's place, where there were, like, statues of, like, weird shit. There was a demon head and, like, clown heads and just...
Oriental rug.
Yeah, it was a mishmash of insanity.
Yeah.
And she is tied against a wall, like a pillar.
Yeah, it's like a giant rectangular pillar.
Yeah, with what looked to be like a velvet rope.
Yeah. It did not look very tight either.
No, it really didn't.
And it was really only like across her stomach. Like, pinning her arm. Like, it wasn't even pinning her arm. She could have moved those.
Yeah, there are many things. Anyway, she's struggling to get free. He says that pride is the deadliest of the sins because it makes people think they're invincible. She starts to mention her powers, and he interrupts her, saying that they are useless and corrupt, even though they worked just a second ago.
Uh-huh.
And he says that she only has a small window of opportunity to save her own life.
She says he won't be the first demon to defeat her. He says that she'll defeat herself, and he's willing to make a deal.
She says she doesn't make deals with demons.
Or terrorists.
And he asks her to at least listen to him. He asks that if she tells him where the pastor is, in exchange he'll remove her sin.
She tells him to go to hell, and he's like, "Bitch, I'm already there. I've been there.
Yeah.
This is my hell.
Yeah.
I'm willing, however, to end yours."
She says that he'd still be one soul short if he removes her sin, and he says that once it's expunged, it'll pop back into the box where he can use it again. And I totally heard it as once it's sponged.
Yep.
And so I immediately was like, sin sponges. I don't know why. It struck me stupid funny while I was doing this, and I literally laughed about sin sponges for a good 5 minutes.
Yep.
It was great.
Yeah, anyway. She says she won't let him infect another innocent. Lucas picks up what looks like a long crystal walking stick. Crystal meaning plastic again.
Yeah, it was
and then taps it twice on the floor. It looked kind of like it was modeled after Gandalf's, or no, Sauron's staff. Just a little.
Like it was definitely
like they took inspiration from that, and they're like, "Hey, can we make this in like lucite?"
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
And then they frosted it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was frosted clear plastic.
Yeah.
Is basically what it was. Anyway, he taps on the floor twice. A large hole in the floor opens up, and he calls it the bottomless pit of everlasting torment. And
that's a really easy name to say, I gotta say.
And then we get a lovely pit POV pointing up at Prue, where it looks like someone has put a blue light underwater inside the pit.
That's exactly what it looks like. And you hear some, like, occasional screaming, yelling, shouting, whatever. Right. And there appear to be skulls and bones, just inset into the walls.
Because then we get a Prue POV, and we can see that the hole is filled with water, but it's a murky water, so there's no reason that there should have been blue light. It should have been like a brown light.
Yeah. And
there was like vines and skeletons, and they all look plastic skeletons. It was kind of funny. I went, look, somebody got a Halloween sale.
Yeah, I know, right?
And just stuck it in the pit.
Anyway, he asks for her decision, and she appears to acquiesce and tells him to untie her. He asks where the pastor is, and she's like, "No, you have to untie me first. Yeah, so I don't self-destruct."
Yeah, if I self-destruct, you get nothing.
Yeah. And so, he hesitates a bit and then flicks his wrist, and the very loose velvet ropes fall down.
Yeah. He then asks again where the pastor is. She replies, "I win, you lose," and then she jumps in the pit.
And a la convenience, right at this moment, is when Piper, Phoebe, and Leo walk in behind her.
Yeah. Lucas shouts out a no. Phoebe calls after Prue. Piper yells at Leo to go, like, she's like, Leo, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so Leo orbs down the hole. Lucas wonders why she had to have pride, because it's the one sin you can't beat.
And Piper is all, beat this, and she freezes him.
Phoebe mentions seeing orbs, and we see Leo orb back in with Prue. Prue, who is still infected with pride, elbows Leo in the chest and chides him for saving her once because she didn't need his help.
Yeah, I had that under control, rah, rah, rah. Piper realizes that the only way to save Prue is to vanquish Lucas, and Phoebe picks up the sin box. She opens the lid, and this is, again, continuity with this fucking box. She opens the lid, and we see what look to be, like, glowing cotton balls inside this lid.
Yeah.
Like the box is glowing, she opens it, and there's, like, a mound of glowing balls. And then when we get a close-up of the box, there's 3 in a line. Yeah. 3 glowing balls in a line.
Yep. Phoebe asks, who ordered the sweet sin balls? Piper says, he did, pointing at Lucas, and Phoebe just kind of tosses them from the box at Lucas.
Chucks them at him. He unfreezes, is confused for a second, then changes all sorts of colors, and falls into the pit.
Yep. The pride sin comes out of Prue and lands in the box. She's very confused. Phoebe explains that Prue lost her pride as 2 more sin balls float into the box.
Phoebe says that they must be anger and envy, meaning the pastor and the cop should be okay now.
Phoebe then closes the box and tosses it into the pit. Prue walks to the side, like, ooh, like with this really cute look on her face, like, ooh, shit, I gotta. And she just, like, grabs the crystal, like, walking stick and just, like, very tentatively, like, taps it twice on the ground and then puts it back very, very delicately. It was, like, that was a really cute move.
It was great. And the pit closes up because that was apparently the magic thing.
Yep.
And then Piper notices the glowing crystal that Lucas had put inside this, like, stand thing.
Yeah.
And wonders if it's another sin thing. But Leo's like, no, I don't think so. Phoebe realizes that it's probably the businessman's soul.
Piper hands it to Leo and tells him to release it someplace nice. He says he knows the perfect place and orbs out.
Prue is all, we sure showed that demon.
Phoebe smirks, and Prue corrects her statement to,
you guys sure showed that demon.
Piper thanks her, and Prue says that she needed them more than they needed her. Phoebe says, oh no, we need each other, and at Prue's protests, Piper says she doesn't like humble Prue and would like her real sister back.
Phoebe agrees, and then Prue starts to ramble about all of the good things that she did.
And Piper and Phoebe, realizing Prue is indeed back in all senses, walk away.
Yeah, and Prue kind of follows, and it was the cutest moment of like, yep, all right, she's back.
Yep.
Let's go. Mm-hmm. We then get a quick night shot of Chinatown, for some reason, where we get a glimpse of the Triangle Building lit up in the background. Then we get a shot of the buildings where we see the Triangle Building again, but it's not as lit up because it's earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And then a night shot, which is even darker than the Chinatown shot, of cars going over the Oakland Bay Bridge before landing on the exterior of P3. There are many people waiting to get in. The now appearing sign is still nowhere to be seen. And we jump inside to see the band playing on the stage. I'll tell you about the band in a bit.
But suffice to say, they are very of the era.
Yes.
They have dyed black hair in varying...
Some of them are blonde.
One of them is like blonde with like specifically dyed roots or something.
Yeah.
It's like, but like the front man and I think one of the guitarists or possibly the drummer, they have like dyed black hair in asymmetrical cuts where all of their bangs are straightened out, like pointy straightened out, and then gelled that way.
Yeah.
They're wearing all of those metallics that you see from the early aughts. Like, remember that one picture of NSYNC where they're all wearing the extremely baggy metallic shit? Like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the way that the lead guy is, like, dancing around, I'm just like, oh, yeah, they were making no sound in this.
Yeah.
He's just doing, this is all for effect.
Yeah.
It's not very good effect. Like, the one of the guitarists has, like, completely bleached blonde hair, like a Billy Idol impersonator.
Though I think he did have like a little spot of colored dye
on
like an edge. Yeah, it was weird. Anyway, like I said, I'll tell you more about. I'll tell you about the band in a bit.
They're quite the frenetic group.
Piper is leaning against the bar, wearing a sleeveless black top that looks to have beading down the front, and what I'm assuming is black leather pants. It could have been a skirt. We never see her.
Hands.
Thank you. We never see her from the waist down, really. Her hair is down and straight. Prue comes up to her wearing a single sleeve black top and what I believe was a snakeskin skirt. But again, we don't really see much of it. Mm. Her hair is also down.
Prue offers Piper a glass of champagne, and Piper says no at first, but Prue reminds her that she can indulge, but not overindulge.
Piper says that Lucas did teach her about things being in moderation, and Prue is all, Lucas didn't teach me anything. And then she realizes what she said, apologizes, and says that she's still working on that whole pride thing.
Yeah. Prue asks then why Piper, Phoebe, and Leo were able to get rid of their sins with a selfless act, as she committed many selfless acts, but it took Lucas being vanquished to get rid of her pride. Piper repeats Lucas's sentiment that pride is the one thing you can't beat, taking it to mean that there's no such thing as a selfless act to someone infected with pride.
Prue says that she threw herself into the pit for the pastor, but Piper says that she did it to win, so it was all for the greater glory of Prue.
Prue finally gives in to this explanation and raises a toast to Leo for saving her from eternal torment. They go in to clink their glasses, but then Piper adds a toast to herself for not trying to be the perfect couple, basically saying that the elders can go screw themselves if she's not good enough.
Prue says she'll drink to that, and they clink and drink.
Clink!
And then Phoebe pushes past some people wearing black pants with like a sparkly strip down the side, paired with what could loosely be called a top.
It looks like it's literally just two panels of sparkly patterned fabric that are like tied together with like pearly.
No.
There's like a front and a back. There's no sides.
There is no back.
There's no back?
There is no back.
Oh, fuck.
This is why I say...
I thought there was a back.
No.
Oh, no.
I legit went through this scene by scene, like moment to moment, to try and figure out if there was a back to this shirt.
Frame by frame, you mean?
Yes, thank you. My brain stopped. Frame by frame, as much as I could via Netflix. There is no back to this shirt. It is a length of fabric that is covered in sequins depicting what I think was supposed to be a beach scene. It is held together by a single tie from one side to the other that ties in the back. Mm-hmm. And there are very tiny straps that are hanging off her shoulders. Like, the single tie at the back is kind of long, which is why I understand why...
The entire thing is kind of long. It's like going down past the frame of the shot. Mm-hmm. Like, past her hips, past her butt. It's like probably ending mid-thigh or something.
Yeah.
Which is very weirdly long for a thing that only has a front.
Yes. And then, like, the tiny straps at the shoulders
are just,
hanging off the shoulder.
They look like they should be on her shoulders.
Right, but
they are not.
Yeah.
And it's making her boobs bounce really interestingly.
Yeah.
Because she bounces over to them.
She really does.
She does.
And her hair is pulled back in like a low...
or like a twist or something. Like
it's kind of low down.
A tuck.
Yeah. With her bangs being curled and she's wearing these dangly earrings.
Yeah.
It's super cute. I love it. I enjoy her with the curly hair when it's pulled back.
Yes.
It looks super cute on her.
Anyway. The reason she has bounced over to Prue and Piper is because she's excited, and not in any kind of sexual way, she prefaces this. Mm-hmm. She just says that she was inspired by recent events to write a paper on sexual politics, claiming that her indiscretion with the professor was an ethical experiment. And fucking God, this would never work in real life, and it really shouldn't in fiction, because that sends a bad message.
Yeah. Anyway, she mentions that she handed in the paper, then pauses for dramatic effect.
And turns her head to the side, and then comes back and says, oh, I got a B. Minus, but fair and square, and she will be able to graduate.
And she says that no man, not even Cole, will stand in her way.
And I have expected him to walk into the room at this moment. Like, it would have been
it would have been funny.
But like, typical.
Yeah. Piper gives congratulations. Prue says that she's proud, which gets a smile from Phoebe, like, oh, coming from you, that's nice. And Prue says, I don't even want to think about sin tonight.
Phoebe agrees, and then Prue mentions that the band playing sure is interesting, and asks Piper what their name is. Piper pauses for a second, and then, still leaning against the bar, goes, orgy.
Mm-hmm. Prue gives her a funny look, Piper smiles, Phoebe smirks, and we end on a shot of the band playing before we go to the end credits.
Smirk at this is like, of course.
Yeah. So, Orgy is an American rock band. They formed in 1994 in Los Angeles, California, and they are best known for their cover of the New Order song Blue Monday, from their 1998 debut album, Candy Ass. The song that they're singing at P3 is called Opticon from their second album, Vapor Transmission, which was not a hit song for them. However, it was featured in the movie Valentine, which had just come out a few months prior to this episode airing. Hence, it was the song that they were kind of known for in that moment. That movie is loosely based on a novel of the same name by Tom Savage. And the movie follows a group of women in San Francisco who are being stalked by a guy who's killing them. Okay. It's a movie I will never watch, even though it has David Boreanaz in it.
Hey.
But it's a horror movie, and I'm not really into horror movies.
No. It sounds more like a thriller. Horror is more supernatural, though, right?
It's a slasher film.
Yeah.
It's a slasher movie. So, yeah, not so much.
No.
Anyway. But that is our episode done.
Yep.
And therefore we are on to ratings. I am giving this 6 out of 10 sin sponges because it made me laugh for 5 minutes straight.
And while you are keeping with my usual theme of alliteration, I have to go with a rhyme this time.
That's fine. That works.
I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 sin bins. Yeah.
Alrighty then. With our ratings done, I do think it interesting you gave that one a little bit higher than I did.
I find it watchable. That's it. That's all I got. I find it watchable.
Yeah.
Other than that scene with Reverend Skinner, I find it watchable.
Yeah. It's not one of my favorite episodes, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah. I laughed a lot.
Yeah. So, on to outfits. For me, personally, I liked Prue and Piper's final outfits because I didn't really care much for the ones they had during the show.
I like Piper's initial outfit.
I didn't mind Piper's initial outfit, but I don't know why. I just really liked that black top with the beading down it.
Yeah.
I just thought that one looked really pretty. And believe it or not, for Phoebe, I actually liked the vest bra combo that she was wearing when she took off the pink jacket at the beginning.
I gotta say, I enjoyed the not the fuzzy vest, just the shirt that she wore under it.
Yeah, I didn't like that one so much, but I think maybe it was just because there was so much happening with that outfit.
Yeah, there was so little happening with her final outfit.
Yeah.
And yet so much.
Yeah. Though I do have to say, I do like her hair up.
Yeah.
With the curls pulled back, pulled up.
Yes, that was nice.
That looks really nice on her. And
that was the best hairdo of the day.
Yeah, I think that looks really, really nice on her.
Of the episode, rather.
And I kind of wish that they would give her that hair more often.
Yeah.
Because it was nice. Anyway. So, with our outfits done, our ratings done, that means we're on to social media stuff.
As always, if you have any questions or comments, you can send them to us at charmchats@gmail.com. Everything, all of the links and the stuffies and the episodes are all available at charmchats.com.
Yep.
We are on Twitter and Tumblr as CharmChatsPod.
Mm-hmm.
We are on Facebook as CharmChats, Instagram CharmChats. And if you are so inclined, you should head on over to our Patreon and maybe throw a couple bucks our way to support this little thing we do here.
Yeah.
That's patreon.com/charmchats.
Indeed. And if you want to get maybe our logo on a shirt or something, if you can't go to Patreon because, I understand that paying a monthly thing to help out, that might be a little too much. But if you want to, get a shirt and that will strike up conversations and therefore you can tell other people about our podcast. That is at redbubble.com/people/waterflame. And again, all of the links will be on our website. So that should be easy enough to find. And there will also be in the links. If you're listening on iTunes, it should be in there as well.
Yep.
So super easy to find. The other thing that we would ask, which I don't think we've asked in a while, is if you could give us a rating on your podcast listening platform of choice.
Mm-hmm. Rating, review, those are going to help a hell of a lot.
Yep, that will get other people to know that we exist. And especially because the whole reboot thing is coming out, there are a lot more people now trying to make charm podcasts, but we were here first.
We definitely were.
And so we would like people to know that we were here first. And therefore,
we're not trying to be hipsters, but it's true.
It is. It is true. We were here before. We were the very first charm podcast before the reboot was even a glimmer.
Yeah.
And so telling people about us and letting, other people know, if you know anybody that enjoys the show, let them know that we exist.
Yeah.
Let them know that we're around. And you know, just word of mouth is a beautiful thing, and it helps out a lot.
Oh, indeed.
And as for merch, we will be getting new merch at some point. We're working on some new designs for things. So that'll be fun. And again, you can check our Twitter and our Facebook and stuff for that. I think that's everything.
Yeah, that's everything.
So, until next time,
sleep tight. Don't let the warlocks bite.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Phoebe, Piper, and Prue, they've got evil to slay and some potions to brew. So we'll see where it's at next time with Kendra and Kat on John Chats.